Paltrocast. Okay, well, how's your day going aside from doing press and answering the same questions over and over and over again?
It's going pretty good, man. A couple of nice cups of coffee and good lunch. I got no complaints.
I'm glad to hear that. Now, the farewell tour, the almighty farewell album, et cetera, et cetera. Everyone talks about that part of it, but what I'm curious is, do you have the plan for what you're going to do with all that extra free time?
I do, I have a foundation called Riptide Society, which is for at-risk youth and young adults in the foster care system. So that's going to take up a lot of my time. I'm producing a couple records next year. Candlebox, the original band, is going to do something with the Seattle Symphony next Christmas. So I'm working on the scoring for that. I'll keep busy. And then I'm also launching a bourbon and a tequila with a good friend. So I've got plenty on my plate to keep me busy.
So it sounds like you're going to be busier after the farewell tour.
Well, busier in the sense with, maybe consciously, but certainly not physically.
That's great to hear. So not only is there the farewell tour and album and all that, but Candlebox never seems to go away in terms of licensing. Like, your songs have been part of some of my favorite comedies ever, the saddest scene of my favorite comedies, Eastbound and Down, Huge in France, etc. Do you watch all the shows when they use your music, or do you avoid it like the plague?
No, I've actually, my friend called me before that episode aired. He's like, have you watched Eastbound and Down yet? Because I live in Los Angeles, he lives in Florida. And I said, no. He goes, dude, you're going to laugh your ass off. And then, of course, when it came on, I started chuckling. And then I was like, wait, are they making fun of us because this is Kenny Powers? Or, But no, it's amazing to think, like even in D Train, Far Behind is in D Train with Jack Black. It's been a great career. And I'm just so grateful that our music has lasted for 30 years. It's a strange feeling. It's bittersweet knowing that I'm saying goodbye to this, and I'm not sure how I'm going to feel at that last strum of the guitar chords. But I think that I made this decision, and I discussed it with my wife and my son, and I discussed it with the guys in the band, and I think it's the right decision and it's the right time. And I'll find plenty of things to keep me busy. That's for sure. I love fishing, so I'm going to do a lot of that.
Oh, nice. Well, a big difference between your farewell tour and most farewell tours is yours doesn't come out of desperation. Yours doesn't reek of being a cash grab. Yours doesn't have all the former members arguing over who gets to continue the legacy, etc. So it's really going out on a high note.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to do it if it was going to be the 30th anniversary of the debut, that would be a perfect time.
Yeah, and another distinction about you is the music is generally not the happiest in the world. Yet anyone who watches your concerts or your interviews knows that you're this guy who has a great sense of humor and smiles a lot. In the early days, did you have to kind of hide that a little bit with the stereotypes of being from Seattle?
Nobody ever interviewed us back then, so I don't think anybody even really knew what we looked like. But no, I think I've always kind of, I've always had a sense of humor, and I've always tried to take I've never taken Candlebox too serious. I've never taken myself too serious. Of course, there are the moments where, there's the heartbreak and the upset of what I've experienced in
Sure.
losing members of the band and stuff like that. But, life is too short. And I've always felt that I wanted to live it to its full extent as long as I'm here. And that's what I try to do. And I don't think I hid anything back then. I certainly was a little bit angrier, I think, when the band first started out, because I was a young kid and testosterone was pumping through my veins. But, as I've gotten older and I've learned to respect what it is that this craft has given me and the life that it's led for me and where I'm at with it, I laugh at almost every single joke that's thrown my way, and I have a lot of fun, and I love the guys that are in my band. We're the best of friends, and that's kind of why I think that the shows are the way they are, and that we do have a laugh, because Brian Island, BJ, and Adam and I are, we're cut from the exact same cloth. We're incredibly juvenile in our humor, and we're the best of friends, and we're brothers in arms. So I think that's another reason why I'm always laughing and having a good time.
I find, you prove my theory that the darker the music, the happier the people off the stage. So for example, when you watch an Alice in Chains show and they're just like angry in this music, and then if you actually see the set list, they usually write a lot of fart jokes on their set list.
Yeah.
And so you kind of don't expect that. Yet you don't want to be around David Lee Roth the second that he's off stage, supposedly.
No, I heard he's a complete jerk, but
Yeah, so kudos to you on, again, going out on top, having a great sense of humor about it all, keeping up with charitable initiatives and all that. So how long was it before you decided, hey, this is the end of this chapter of Candlebox?
I started talking about it in 2020 with my wife during COVID. I said, if this doesn't turn around too quickly, and I'm going to be home for a little bit, what are your thoughts about me being home for a lot of it? And we just really started talking about when would be the right time, and then also talking with the guys in the band about it. I wanted to make sure that they understood where I was coming from. I didn't want them to feel like they didn't have anything, down the road. So I made sure that, listen, in 3 years, this is where we're going to be. So I want you to start establishing yourselves, and letting other bands know that you're going to be available, because my band, anybody that gets Brian, Island, BJ, or Adam is going to be the luckiest band in the world, because they're 4 of the most incredible musicians I've ever had the opportunity of playing with. And I want nothing but the best for them. So, I'm putting the word out in all these interviews that, you've got a band that's coming your way. If you're looking for somebody to fill in, these guys are the guys that you're going to want to reach out to, because I can't think of better musicians for anybody than the guys that I play with.
Well, throwing a really old question at you, you were signed to Maverick Records. And one thing that I've always tried to figure out, was Candlebox the first band to be signed to the label, the first successful band to be signed to Maverick?
We were the first band. We were the first band to sign to that label. I think there was a band called Proper Grounds that they were going to release, but it didn't work out. I can't remember exactly what happened with that, but they were kind of like a rap rock thing that was really cool. But yeah, we were the first band to sign to Maverick Records, and Guy's very first signing as well. He was only 19 years old when he signed us, so pretty crazy.
I kind of liken it to the way that Led Zeppelin can do whatever they want forever and ever because of what they did for Atlantic Records. That's how I look at Candlebox with Maverick. Sure, Alanis happened and the rentals happened, but you kept the lights on in the early days. So did that factor into renegotiating your deal and getting better terms over time?
No, we never did that. We were, that's one of the things that, we kind of, over the years, everybody said, oh, you should have renegotiated because you had an opportunity. But we, Maverick gave us a break early on, and we never forgot that. And for us to go back and say, okay, now we've sold 4 million records, so you got to give us more money. It just was something that we all discussed and thought, no, let's just keep the terms the way they are. We're happy, and everything worked out. Of course, in 2000 that bit us on the ass, but we tried to keep things as the playing field was level, and we wanted to keep it there.
Got it. Going back to something that you said earlier, fishing is one of the things that you're going to be doing when you have more free time. But are you one of the hard rock people that golfs? Because I'm finding 50% of hard rock people golf these days.
Yeah, I'm in my golf swing is in my hands right now. That's what I've been practicing this entire time. No, I do play a lot of golf, and I love it. I play with my son, and that's one of the most exciting things for me is that we have that relationship, and I don't keep score. I was told by a friend years ago, if you're not playing professionally, don't keep score. Enjoy the game, enjoy being out there, and that's really what it is for me. It's like, I'm not gonna be a professional player. Why do I care? If it's a 3-putt, it's a 3-putt. I'm just out enjoying my time, and that's what I love about it. And I do love that it takes a certain amount of concentration to play that game. It's hand-eye coordination is something that keeps you young, and I'm hoping that golf helps me to keep the old brain working the way it's working now.
It sounds like you're not keeping score on anything, really.
I don't. I never have. I just, I love life. I embraced it a long time ago, and I have, I've got a great band and a great crew, and that's what's kept me kind of in this state of mind for so long. And I just love it, man. If I'm keeping score on things, that just puts pressure into all the wrong spots, and I just want to be a good human being and hang out with my friends and play music.
Wow. Well, three quick questions and then you're a free man for me. And the first one is, what was the album that made you want to start playing guitar in the first place?
I still don't like playing guitar, so I don't know. I don't know if that would be a good question for me. I think what the album that made me want to be a rock star was the Clash London Calling. That was the first record that made me want to just go out and break shit. But I think if I were to pick an album that influences me as a guitar player, it would probably be Led Zeppelin, Houses of the Holy, because there's just so much magical guitar work on that record. I mean, Jimmy Page is at his, just his level of playing at that stage in his career is just so remarkable to me. And then of course, every Beatles record. I mean, any kind of the tunings that I work with, the George Harrison tunings or John Lennon songwriting style, you can pick any Beatles record and throw it at me, and I would say, yeah, that one influenced me because I love them.
Well, this isn't the second question here, but usually when you have the singer who doesn't play guitar, but writes the song so they do play guitar, usually they do that thing where they put on the guitar for one song just to show that they can play guitar. Bono does it for a while. Anthony Kiedis was doing it. I don't remember you doing that at any phase in your career. Am I wrong?
Oh no, I picked. Pete made me pick up guitar when we did the Lucy record. So actually, that whole tour, Lucy, I played on like 7 songs. But that was because we didn't have a 5th member. Now that I've got Brian and Island, I'll play acoustic on Riptide. I play acoustic on Cover Me. I play acoustic on Sometimes, but those are the only songs if I'm doing a full show like this. If I do an acoustic tour, obviously I play all of this, but I'm a terrible player. I'm a half guitar player. I get through it.
You're not the worst of the front men who do the guitar for one song. I would say Vince Neil with the fake drop D tuning. That's the worst. So you're always better than that, Kevin.
Thank you.
I'm
one up from Vince Neil.
Question 2. What's the last concert that you went to as a fan or for fun?
Oh, Band of Horses.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that was great. And then I also just saw the Cult in Santa Barbara in May, and it was amazing, stellar.
Nice. And the last question, what are you watching on TV at the moment? What do you recommend? Do you have a show or two that you say, hey, Darren, you and the wife should be watching this? Well,
if you haven't watched Luther, which is a British broadcasting show with Idris Elba, which came out in 2010, start it. It is phenomenal. I mean, Idris Elba is one of the greatest actors to ever grace the screen, and he's just so good in that show. And then Gomorrah, which is the Italian drug mafia series, which is on, I believe that's on HBO streaming. Gomorrah is hands down the greatest show I've ever watched.
Now, you mentioned Luther, and before I let you go, there's one thing from Luther that I say in real life, and I'm curious if you think this is true. The part where he fakes a yawn to try and get empathy out of the person he's interrogating to see whether or not that person has empathy. Do you think that's true?
Yes, because if you don't yawn, then you're not empathetic. And that's just psychological. I studied psychology when I was starting college, and then I dropped out. But that's one of the things that you can get if someone doesn't mimic that yawn or they don't feel it, then there's a sociopathic tendencies with that person.
I am glad you didn't just fake a yawn to get me to yawn. But Kevin, thank you for the many, many, many years of great music. Looking forward to your farewell gig or 2 in the New York area, but looking forward to everything that's to come from you. And just thank you for being you all these years.
Thank you, Darren. I appreciate it, brother.
Paltrocast.